I can actually finally say good evening, everybody on the Highbury squad. This is the Lockdown Series, episode 9, and we have gone stateside. It's about time. Okay. So this show has been a long time coming. Before we get started today, I just wanted to say very quickly that the Highbury squad got a very heartfelt message from a listener that is out there and has been struggling. And I know a lot of people are struggling right now. And the message that we got was superb. Super Kev, you would love this message. You know, someone that was telling us how we bring joy to them every single day and we're helping them get through the tough times. And also, folks like we have on the show today do the same through their love for Arsenal here in the United States as well. So before we let them introduce themselves, Super Kev, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. I think it's like 3 a.m. in Spain. Boom.
No, I'm in England.
Oh, you haven't left yet. Okay, you're in England. Okay, good. All right.
I'm going to be traveling. I'll be traveling in 2 hours, so.
Okay, so we've got Kev for a very finite moment. So I'm going to just get everyone to introduce themselves really quickly. We love the US Arsenal fan base. We've got some incredible people here. So let's start with you, Tiff. Let everyone know about yourself. And then we'll just go to Taylor and then Mike and MK and Jessica.
Okay, so I'm Tiffany. I'm in New Orleans. Lots of you have met me from the summer tour, and let's see, I'm on the board for Arsenal America. I started Gooner Gals, and I'm on the group that puts together Gooner Gra. So I'm a very busy Gooner.
Awesome. Taylor.
And the hey everybody, I'm yeah.
Wait, say that again?
She is the legend. She's the legend. Everybody knows. All the American Gooners know. I'm Taylor. I'm the branch manager of Arsenal Los Angeles. I'm in Los Angeles.
I love it.
Yeah.
Big Mike, you crazy fox, you.
You know,
legend.
Kevin, it's so nice to finally meet you. I've always wanted to meet an ex-Arsenal player, and it's beautiful to be on this podcast.
You look like somebody who was in Liverpool at one stage, at Everton.
Oh, we got to tell that story if we have time before you get off. But this is a perfect example of the Gooner family right here, and why I stick with this club and love this club. It's not for figuring out whether we're going to beat Leeds or not on Sunday, although I would like us to. It's for the people on this podcast right now, all of whom I have met in some capacity, and just absolutely made my life better. So thanks for having me on.
I love it. We love you, Mike. You're the best, man. MK.
It doesn't always seem like it, but I know.
Well, I mean, hopefully you did wear your underwear, but we'll get to that a bit later on. Once the legend leaves, we can talk about underwear. MK.
Hi, thank you for having me.
That too.
I'm MK. I'm also in Los Angeles. I'm on the board with Taylor of Arsenal Los Angeles, and I also run our Twitter account, Arsenal_LA on Twitter.com.
Very cool. My LA peeps right here. Although I'm in Orange County, but I love LA. I used to live in LA, so I moved here a few years ago. Jessica.
Hello. I am Jessica. I am from Houston. Well, I'm really in the Woodlands now, which is north of Houston. And I'm the viral crier. So let's just say it how it is. That's me. I'm the one who cried.
It never gets old though, Jessica. Never gets old.
It doesn't. Chaplains are really in touch with our feelings. So it was a good thing that I was, good job that I was, because that finally got me to the Emirates. So
I love it. And I actually I was talking to, that's your message, but I was having a chat with one of our favorite people today. And I know Casey adores her too. So I spoke to Rebecca. I didn't speak to her, but we were exchanging messages on Instagram. And I said that you guys were coming on the show. And this is exactly what she wrote. She goes, "Oh, bless them. I love them all too. Have a great show. And I hope everyone's really well." So that's a message from Rebecca to all of you guys. And I think at the end of the show, we'll send her a message back. How about that? Super Kevin Campbell is here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to hand over the mic to the guys here, because we got Casey for 15 minutes. So I want you guys to ask him anything. We don't have a buzzer like Mike. Unfortunately, our podcast doesn't have the budget for a buzzer. So you know what, MK, why don't we start with you? Super
Sure.
Kevin Campbell, Arsenal legend, Everton legend, played the game at the highest level. I'm throwing you guys. I didn't know Casey was going to be able to make it, but go ahead. Why don't you ask Casey anything you want?
Absolutely. So my first question, my only question probably, but thank you for being here. Number one, I'm a little bit nervous. I was not expecting you to be up at 3:30 in the morning, so thank you. What would your, sure, go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's all right. I was watching the American football anyway, so.
It's a good game. Good game, Casey.
What would
Cardinal Seattle?
Seattle, yeah, it's a big. I don't follow the MLS. I'm not the person to ask on that. But my question to you would be, what is your? I'm sure it's probably a stereotypical question, but what is your fondest memory with Arsenal? I mean, it's obviously just historic and storied club that we all love so much. What means the most to you having played for this club?
Well, the most historical moment for me was MK was signing for the club. You know, as a boy, you grow up and you get the top, and I mean, it took me years to get a top as a kid because we couldn't afford it. And my first game I went to was in 1977. Couldn't afford even to get a ticket to go in. Had to wait until they opened North Bank, and me and my mates run in, you know, and run up the North Bank. And to be able to sign for the club at 12, you know, was amazing. And everything from there on in was amazing for me to be able to get signed as a YTS apprentice, then to sign as a professional, then to make my debut at 18 for Arsenal, and then to score my first goal in front of the North Bank, and then to win. You know, it's amazing. What an amazing!
I was there.
for
I just have to say, I was
like
there.
myself.
I was there that day, KC. I was there and the North Bank
Yes,
to
you
watch
were
that
there.
goal, and that's
Yeah.
I will never forget that.
Wow.
It's
Sorry, but
yeah. So that's what makes it so special, MK. It's a really special club. And, you know, this is the funny thing we're talking about, what's in the world now about Black Lives Matter, and there's a lot of racism type thing. Back in the 70s, there was a lot of racism around. And when I went to Arsenal, I saw every creed and color around that stadium, and that made me feel at home. That's why I knew that was my club.
I love
Thank you
that,
so much.
Casey.
That's beautiful.
I have a question.
Go on, Tiff, jump in.
Okay, so I mean, knowing what you're going to do at 12 just blows my mind, because I was probably 35 before I figured out what I wanted to do with my life. But my question would be, so you know, there's this old adage with Arsene Wenger that if you had a position that you were going to play, if he asked you like, what's your optimal position, and you could tell him that he felt like a strong footballer could play any position and wouldn't have just the one in mind, but would be there sort of for the team. And so my question would be, if you weren't a striker, what else would you have done? What, like, ideally for you, what else were you great at?
Tiff, I'm into computers, so I would have been in the computer industry at some stage if I didn't become a footballer. But on the pitch, for Arsenal, I have played probably 5 different positions. I've played striker, I've played wide right, wide left, left of a midfield, and right midfield as well. I've even played centre midfield, I've played right back, but these are for other teams in like testimonial games. So I suppose, you know, you have to be a bit flexible, don't you? So yeah, I could have probably done that as well.
And hi, Amelia. Well done. Thanks for joining. Seen the link didn't arrive. Technology let me down. Sorry about that, Amelia, but welcome to the show, Amelia. Meet everybody.
Hi, everybody.
We got Super Kevin Campbell here for a few minutes. So let's see. Taylor, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was thinking about your international travels in your life, and I was wondering if you could just speak to your experience in Turkey, actually, a little bit.
Ooh.
When I ended up going out to Turkey, I honestly thought I was going to a third world country. I can't hear Taylor.
He can hear you though, Casey. Don't worry.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to a third world country. I didn't know what to expect. But once I went out there and I saw the facilities, they were better than England. Far superior to England. So you could imagine, as me as a pro thinking I'm going somewhere where, the facilities aren't going to be great, they were far superior than the Premier League. So I was happy. Obviously, I was very happy. Bedrooms at the training ground, recovery suite in the basement of the training facility. One thing what shocked me was, if the game's on a Saturday, you were in camp from the Wednesday. You were locked in, arm guard at the training ground, and you were locked in. Constant training.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. And if the game kicked off at 8:00 at Saturday night, if depending what type of game, if it was a big game, the stadium will be full by midday, 1:00.
Fanatics.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. Fanatics. Yeah, crazy.
It's
Thank
almost like
you.
someone who's up at 3:30 in the morning to get on a podcast with others.
Wonderful,
Very
wonderful,
close.
wonderful place to play.
Thank you, Kev.
All right. Let's see. Amelia, do you have a question for Kev? So if you guys don't, Amelia covers, we met covering LA Galaxy, and she is a Uber Mexican Liga MX expert. And she is a superb gooner and fell in love with them. I think we're going to find out a little bit later on, but I think it's when Carlos Vela signed, but we'll find out a little bit later on. So Amelia, you have the floor.
I'm so sorry. I was trying to get the kids acclimated because I have 2 kids and they're running around somewhere. So I will throw my question out to whoever wants to have another question. Because I was just trying to get them situated, and then like Sophie and I said,
You're a hero. You're a hero. You're a working mom, a single mom. You do a great job. Don't you worry about a thing.
So I'll throw my question out to anybody else who feels like they have a better question, because and now I'm finally getting situated. So sorry I'm late, guys.
No worries.
Let's hear from Jessica.
Okay. I don't know if my question is better, but I'll take a good one, but I'll take it. So one of the reasons why a lot of us fell in love with the Arsenal is our Professor Wenger, and you were under George Graham. Any sort of professorial wisdom that he shared with you? I wonder what sort of things that he would say to inspire you. If there was something that he shared with you, it's not or another manager. Just that we focus so much on managers right now, and are they shifting focus? Are they inspiring us and the fans and the players? So, what did George say or do to inspire you?
Well, he done a lot, Jessica.
Yeah.
He done a hell of a lot.
Where to start?
Sure, we all have a long. Everyone loves George
to the
but
club.
for Casey, yeah.
When George Graham came to the club was in a little bit of decline.
Mm-hmm.
There were some young players who had come through the ranks, i.e. Paul Davis had made it, broke through, Tony Adams had broke through, Dave Rocastle was just breaking through. But there was the likes of Charlie Nicholas, Kenny Sansom, Tony Woodcock, Viv Anderson was still there. There were a lot of the old guard still there. And George Graham wanted a young, vibrant, aggressive team. And he soon came in. And from the first day, his first team talk for the whole club, I was a 16-year-old kid just learning about football. And after his first speech, he said that if you're good enough, you will get an opportunity in this team. He said, anybody who is not committed to beating those teams on Merseyside, especially the team in red on Merseyside, come and see me and I'll make sure you leave the club. He said, because that's who our target is. And one thing about Georgie was he took all the coaching, and he was an excellent teacher of the game. He taught all the players so much and improving us, not just as a team, but individuals as well. He was a very hard taskmaster. But you know, there's a saying: if you want it bad enough, you'll work for it, and that's what he made us do. And in the end, you know, winning a trophy in his first season was important. Second season, everybody just started to understand how to act as a team week in, week out. And the third season, well, you know, was the 89, which Arsenal came back and won the league on the final day. So that was... So that was
Let's celebrate.
You're not allowed to mention that without Amanda on the podcast, Casey.
It's illegal. It's almost illegal.
I have to mention, if I don't get a word in edgeways with her off.
Yeah, you were part of the team, and she won't shut up about it.
Good question and answer.
Yeah, exactly. If she was on, I couldn't even speak about it. She'd be mentioning it. So.
Oh, so good. So good. Amelia, do you have a question for Casey? Something you want to ask him?
I guess this will kind of be on brand because we just mentioned like Mexicans, and Vela has been technically the last one. I know Marcelo Flores is over there right now as a youth, but just for you, you know, the growth that, or maybe not the growth, but just like seeing, I guess, like Raul, or just seeing, you know, would you like to see some of that like Mexican flavor in Arsenal once again? I know Vela was a little bit topsy-turvy, but what's your opinion on what they can contribute to the Premier League and specifically Arsenal as a team?
I think the game is global now, Amelia. The game is global now, and if the players are committed, because look, it's a different climate in Europe, especially in England. It's a lot colder, but I know there's a lot of good players out there. So, you know, why not? If there's a player who we can get in who's creative, I think there's a lot of people who want more creative players. If you could bring a couple of creative players in, I'm sure Arsenal will take them.
Yes, I think we want one in particular, but we're not going to get him. So let's hope that Mikel Arteta does the right thing. KC, we released your new Super Kevin Campbell Says episode today. It's nice and short, you guys. It's a 5-minute listen. You can go to the Highbury Squad YouTube channel. But let everyone know what your thoughts are on the Leeds game before we let you go as well. And if Arteta doesn't change something, I think the Arsenal universe might melt down.
Well, doesn't Mike get a question?
What?
Wait, Mike didn't he?
No, I didn't. I was waiting patiently. No. And
okay, fine. Mike gets a question.
It's less of a question. I know the answer, but I think it's a good answer. Casey, this is a good answer, but describe to us the difference between your treatment by Arsenal supporters and, say, Everton. You've played in 149 different clubs, but Arsenal and Everton are really kind of like the key ones. And I've seen the adulation. Ones, yeah. I've seen the adulation that you receive still in Liverpool outside of Goodison Park, and it amazed me. And I've also seen you at pubs next to Arsenal, and you know you get adulation, but it's like how does it feel knowing that the place where you started, the place where your heart is, you can walk in and out of a pub and some people don't know who you are, but in Everton you're a god.
What pub's he going to?
Right?
How does
what the hell?
What pub are you going to, mate? I mean, I just.
Well, no, I'm just saying. Like, I've heard. I've heard you
talk at the Tollington with all the millennials at the Tollington. Go on, Casey.
Look, the crazy thing about this, and the great thing about it, all in one go, is at Arsenal have had so much success. And they've had so many great players that I am part of a squad with some of the greatest, Tony Adams, Ian Wright, Dave Rocastle, all them. So, yeah, I'm looked at in a good light, but them boys are mega boys. But I've left Arsenal and I've gone elsewhere, and I've taken some of that shine with me and made a difference at some of the other clubs. And that's why the other clubs treat me the way Arsenal treat maybe a Tony Adams or Ian Wright or something like that. Because listen, we're Gooners. It travels with us.
I mean, I just love.
You know, I'm blessed.
I love that you don't get jaded by it, because I mean, seeing the way that Everton fans responded to you, I mean, it would be easy to just be all about Everton at this point, because they're showing you the most love, and it just shows that you carried that Arsenal spirit with you to Everton, and I mean, to this day they revere you, and it was nice to see. It was nice to see.
But remember also too, Mike, that Kevin was the first ever, and Kevin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but not only did you captain Everton at some point, but you were
young man in the corner.
This is my my teammate for life. This is Oliver. This is
look at him in his little Gooner shirt, Casey.
It's Olivier. Olivier.
Oliver.
He'll play for us one day.
Hopefully.
Yeah, go on, Sophie. I've got 3 minutes before I have to
okay, 3 minutes, because I leave it on this because I think maybe some people don't know, but not only did you captain Everton, but you were the first ever black captain of Everton Football Club.
That's
I mean,
right.
you're a trailblazer. So I think with the toffees and stuff, there's things that you did, and there's a trailblazing, path that you left as well, which, just I think Everton fans just revere forever and ever,
Well, I got new respect for Everton
Sophie,
that day.
The funny thing is, Sophie, I made my debut for Arsenal at Goodison Park, and there was 5 black players in the squad, and we all got racially abused, something rotten. And it just goes to show, 11 years later, the difference. Go there and you're revered, and obviously become a captain and a club legend, etc. So, it is about the people, and things can change if people want it to change. So that's kind of a good story.
No, it's a great story, and you've left a lot of great stories. And here's what I love about KC, everyone, is that, there are a lot of players out there on social media, but the way he makes himself accessible to fans, and especially Arsenal and Everton fans and teams that he's played for, it's really quite a point of difference. And we love and adore him. He always pops in. He wants to connect with Arsenal fans, and he really... Thanks so much, Casey. We know you're about to get a flight and go. You have to go cover La Liga. You're a busy man. But a round of applause for Super Kev. Woo!
You're the best, Kev. Thank you.
Thanks,
Love you,
everybody. Tiffany, see you. Taylor, Jessica, MK,
Yeah, babe.
Amelia,
Thank you.
Oliver, Magic Mike, and Sophie. See ya.
Love you, bro. Take care. Safe travels, okay? You travel safe.
Okay, bye. Have a good show.
Thank you,
Bye
babe.
now.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now the shit show begins.
Can I just tell you guys? Oh, thanks, babe. Can I just? Yeah. Can I just tell you guys how much I love that guy? I mean, listen.
You guys did the right thing by asking. I mean, I've heard the story. Like, why does he appear on your podcast? And he says because they asked, and that was the right thing to do. I've actually taken a lot from that and said, well, we're just going to ask people. What's the harm in asking?
Yeah.
What a guy that guy. I mean, I get texts from him in the middle of the morning with funny videos and viral stuff. I mean, he's a guy. He's demystified himself, but in a way that's so endearing. And I mean, he's a connection to Arsenal that what he's doing is very, very underrated.
Completely agree.
It's slow. It's methodical. It's not intentional. It's not overt. It's not for profit. He's just connecting with anyone and everyone who loves Arsenal, and
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful thing. And thank you guys for pushing him out there, as through your own channels as well. Not that he needs to be pushed out there, but I mean, your partnership with him is incredible.
I feel really lucky. And I'm gonna like I worked in the entertainment industry for many years and looked after a lot of like superstars as well as, you know, up and comers and stuff. But I've got to tell you, collaborating with Super Kev, he is a dream and he inspires me every day. And he, you know, during a time where we're all kind of trying to figure out this 2020 and what's going on with life, just when you feel like I can't do the day, he gives you all of these, he just motivates you, you know, without even trying hard. And he's just really a special guy. So enough about lauding Casey. I'm going to get my $50 later from him. Woo! I've got my Arsenal Gooners here. So listen, before we get to some fun stuff, because I've just prepped some fun questions for you guys, which we'll do in a quick fire round. So, you know, everyone can get a sense of you. And we've got a lot of listeners around the world, and it's going to be fun once they play this on replay. And those that are in chat right now, thank you so much for tuning in and being with us. So, Jessica, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to go anti-clockwise this time. I want you to tell... Oh, lovely. I want you to tell everyone how you fell in love with Arsenal, why Arsenal, and then I want everyone to answer that question. Because even though you may have told that story in other podcasts or to Rebecca Lowe on NBC, a lot of our listeners may not know the story. So tell us why Arsenal first.
So I went to an international school in Houston in the 90s, and all of my friends had a club, and most of my friends were European. And I grew up loving football. I played when I was little. I had a Pele video in my Easter basket when I was 4. My family just kind of that was our sport. So I already was in love with the sport itself, but I didn't have, you know, it was the U.S. in the 90s. We didn't have our own club here, you know. And so I wanted my own, and I started kind of listening to who my friends were following and watching matches with them on the weekends and reading up history and all sorts of things. And then I was an exchange student in France, and then that kind of all just added together. I wanted a Premier League club. I didn't want PSG or something just because I, you know, was an exchange student. That's not what I wanted. And then really learned more about Wenger and his philosophy and how he was a professor. I really enjoyed his take. And then Henri, you added this French connection into it, I couldn't resist it. It was just like it sucked me in. And I remember like mid to late 90s, and I thought like Michael Owen was so cute. You know, of course, every girl did at that moment. But I still, even that preppy English look that he had could not, you know, the countryside.
You think Michael Owen was preppy looking?
Yes, I did.
Like a schoolboy, like preppy, like prep school. Yeah. I could see that.
Not like J. Crew preppy, but more like, you know, the English I ride horses kind of, you know. That
yes.
He does. But even that could not.
She was watching Pride and Prejudice at the time.
and always. I couldn't, you know, that couldn't lure me. Even that couldn't lure the teenage girl to Liverpool. So it was all Arsenal. So.
Oh, thank God. My goodness.
I almost made a mistake.
You almost made a mistake. A few of us almost made that mistake. Trust us. So Taylor and MK, I'd love for you guys to kind of dovetail each other and feel free to jump in. Yes, pour the wine, have the beer. I love this. This is club. This is our restaurant.
Honey, can you get me some wine, please?
It's our COVID hangout. Absolutely.
Is dog telling each other something that like YouTube is going to take the video down?
I'm going to go Russian. There we go. Okay, so I'd love for you guys to let everyone know why Arsenal, how you guys met and formed Arsenal LA. And, you know, Fox and Hound is a great place to watch a game. So tell us a little bit about yourselves and how it all came to be.
I'm going to start because how I fell in love with Arsenal is probably much shorter than MK's version, and there's a reason for that. So this is a funny story, not the conventional one either. So my younger brother, has a good friend who follows the German national team pretty pretty well. And 2010 World Cup rolls around, and my brother starts watching pretty avidly. And my family's always been, into football. My grandpa was a part of the Iranian national team way back in the day.
Wow,
but I'd never really fallen in love. He worked with them. I think he was an assistant manager of sorts. This was a long time ago. And at any rate, my brother watches the World Cup. And then a year later, his favorite player from that World Cup, a certain very tall German, signs for Arsenal. If you're catching my drift, it's Mr. Mertesacker. And my brother falls immediately in love with Arsenal. And then I, was like, what is he spending all of his time doing? And I did a little bit of research and started watching the team, and I fell in love with the people and the spirit and the history. I think fell in love is probably an understatement, because pretty much every clothing item I own is some sort of variation of Arsenal swag, but that's how I fell in love with the team. And since then, it's been a wild ride.
I love it. MK, how'd you fall in love with the Gunners?
So I grew up in the New York City metro area, and I
love
had
New York.
right by JFK, actually. So a lot of my neighbors and everyone were really into the sport. But for me, it was the connection with the French national team. I'm a Francophile, and I'm Alsatian in heritage, like Arsene Wenger. So that was a special connection to see someone famously represent that area to such a great degree. And obviously what he did for Arsenal is, he deserves a statue. I mean, he's a tremendous figure in the sport.
Do we need more statues, though? I'm not sure we need more.
Well, there's quite a lot, isn't there? Having been to the Emirates. But I mean, if anyone's going to really deserve one, I would say that he absolutely does. I know he got a lot of hatred towards the end, and I'm sad to see that. But that was probably for me the late '90s when Henry signed right after France won the World Cup in '98. I probably started watching more regularly in the early 2000s because it was a bit more accessible then. Obviously, television rights were a bit difficult in the US, but so that's how I kind of became. That's how I became an Arsenal fan.
How'd you guys get to creating Arsenal LA? Because also we'll get to Tiff, because you have. I actually reached out to Arsenal America too, but we'll get them on another show. But you guys are all connected in some way. So how did the branch come to be in LA?
So we wanted to preserve the culture of watching Arsenal football at the Fox and Hounds. Arsenal has, it's been the home of Arsenal football in LA since 1998. We have some active members, including Steve Manios, who's very active in our organization, who has been watching at the pub. I was 10, to give a reference. I mean, so that's how long it goes back. Yeah, so we really wanted to preserve that tradition here in Los Angeles. I moved out here, so I became involved when they founded it. I had only been there when it was LA Gooners a few times, and everyone was so gracious to bring me aboard just as a sort of like a new person, because I had never been involved with the Arsenal America organization growing up in New York. But it was a way for me to meet people and find a community, and I'm so grateful for that. And that's what we really try to do here in LA is make it accessible, family friendly, and to spread our love of Arsenal across a great diverse group of people here, and to preserve that at the Fox and Hounds.
Yeah, you guys have done a great job, and I know that. And look, we've got listeners from all over the world. Let's say hello to Andre, who's in Istanbul, in Turkey.
Good morning, Andre.
You just missed Kevin Campbell talking about playing in Turkey, but thanks to everyone who's tuning in from all corners of the earth to listen. Tiff, you guys did an event in LA. You guys have done events. You're part of the Arsenal tour. You created the Gooner Gra. Take it away, Tiff. You've got the Gooner Girls. Just give everyone a little smorgasbord. As we say, we Greeks, like a Greek meze. It's like a tapas of Tiffany in the Arsenal.
Tiffany deserves a statue outside the American version of the Emirates, if there ever is one.
That's a great shout, Kit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen some of those statues. I think I'm good with that.
The Cristiano Ronaldo statue. I don't think anyone.
Yeah, I don't want that guy.
Has that.
So I mean, my story goes back to when you had to have a Satanta box in order to watch Arsenal in the US.
Oh my God! Do you remember the Mourinho puppet? Go on.
And so we watched a lot of Premier League at the time, and Kevin loves this, but I really liked Arsenal and Everton. But the more that I just felt, everything was just Arsenal. And then my whole house was Arsenal. So it was always going to be inevitable that it was Arsenal. I mean, my 21-year-old still wears a Theo Walcott shirt, you know, all the time. And I think they're probably almost the same age. So, you know, I got involved with the
Did you catch that she has a 21-year-old son?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I don't want to cast aspersions on people who have kids when they're 7, but like clearly that's what happened in this situation.
No, I'm in New Orleans. I'm a vampire. Remember?
Dear God, Mike's kicked off early. Second half, Mike. Second half. Go on.
So I got involved with the group in New Orleans, and we put together Gunnar Gra. It wasn't my idea. There were guys that were doing it before us, and we were getting 50 or 60 people. And then now we, you know, well, when we can have it, we get 200 to 300 people that fly in from all over to come just party with us. And we do basically a giant Arsenal Mardi Gras. We have a king and queen, and we have a balcony over a parade and all of this stuff. And it's great. Through that, I was asked to get involved with Arsenal America. Actually, before that, I had started chatting with other women, other female supporters, and we were doing it in sort of small private chat groups. And then I thought, you know, I bet if there's, you know, 3 or 4 groups, then there's probably a lot of us. And so I started Gunnar Gals, which is a private group that's open just to female supporters. And it's basically, you know, the same thing that you would see anywhere else. We do a match thread, and we, you know, we talk about football, but there's no, women represent 20 to 25% of Arsenal supporters. And when you try and put your voice into a conversation that's going on with 75% men, you get jumped over a lot. So I feel like it's an easier space for us to really discuss the match and just be amongst ourselves. And so we've really enjoyed that. And as part of both Gunnar Gra and Gunnar Gals, I was asked to get involved with Arsenal America. And I have some events experience, obviously. And so that is what I do. So that's what I do for Arsenal America. So I plan trips where we've taken 50, 60 people over to the Emirates each year. And then last year for the summer tour, we planned, and I have to say I coordinated it, but the people in LA and the people in Denver and the people in Charlotte and in DC are absolutely the ones who get the credit for all the hard on the ground work for those amazing parties and the things that we were able to do for the supporters there. And I was able to work directly with the club to get a lot of it done, but it was really a community effort because we love Arsenal and we were excited to have them here, and we did everything that we could to, you know, make it as great and as memorable as possible, especially for people who may not be able to go to London at any point.
That last tour that you guys were involved with here, I know Mike tries to get to London whenever he can. And I don't know what you mean by. Oh, it's Siri.
My watch.
Siri right now. You know, she can be such a bitch sometimes, can't she?
Damn it, Siri.
Involved in everything all the time. Literally getting worse as she gets older.
My Alexa used to go off every time I would watch a game from my office, and they would talk about Alexis. My Alexa would be like, "I don't hear you," or something, whatever. I finally had to throw it out the window.
But no, the tours and everything. I mean, seriously, there are some unsung heroes, and Tiffany's done a lot, you know, for a lot. And I think, you know, the people that know her know all of the graft that she's put in. And I think what people don't realize sometimes that a lot of this is just free time. We do it because of the passion and loving the club. So a big up to Tiff for everything that she's done. Stateside.
I could wax poetic on Tiff's dedication to.
Maybe we'll do a special Tiff
Honestly,
edition.
I'm holding back because there's so many things that I'm going to say something really quickly because I need.
Go on, Taylor.
Those 3 days surrounding the Los Angeles game were honestly some of the best days of my life, and that is in no small part at all to the work that Tiffany did, but also just the network that we've established as Gooners. it is incredible, and so I have to say thank you again because it was the best.
Meanwhile, during all that
Absolutely.
time, Sophie and I were just drinking and goofing off in the nether
Well,
regions
you and
of
Andy were. I
StubHub
was
Center.
trying to contain you guys.
Oh, no,
no,
you were not. You bought me a beer, Sophie.
I did buy you a beer. We
Sophie, I
actually
had to-
did get to have some fun, and I did buy you a beer, which was a wonderful moment.
Sophie, you almost got tossed out of the StubHub Center for arguing about not having enough access, and I had to hold you back from the.
Well, screw it. I mean, you know, you got listen. Don't. Amelia will tell you, like, no screwing. Like, excuse me, we're here to ask questions. This is our job. But also, let me just reveal that Andy and Mike called me before the press conference with Unaya and everybody, and they're like, "Soph, is it uncool to like show up wearing our Arsenal shirts?" And I'm like, did you get the press media email that says that you shouldn't really show up showing a preference to any team?
That was Andy. I was professional. He was on vacation.
Wait, let me finish. And then I said, probably best to just turn up neutral. So I'm driving up and I text them and they said, oh, you're here. I go, yeah, meet us here. So I met them. I walk up, the two of them, bright and breezy in their Arsenal shirts. I'm like, well done, boys. So we're off to a good start here.
Look, Andy was
They
on
were very
vacation.
understated. They are always
I was
understated.
I was working. Andy was on vacation, and then of course my phone goes off in the middle of the press conference. So we are not media. We'll
get to some of that. We'll get to some of that in a minute. Amelia, one of my favorite girls here in LA. I adore Amelia. We're talking about doing. Can I mention this, Amelia? Like we recorded a pilot episode of a bunch of women talking about MLS. There's no MLS-driven female podcast out there. She knows her football big time. And Amelia, tell us a little bit about you and why you fell in love with the Arsenal. Stop me talking about you. You just talk about you.
So I'm one of those millennials.
There's the
I
future
know
forward for
who.
the Arsenal.
I need to.
Can we be quiet, please, so I can tell a story?
What's the story?
Well, I'm going to tell it. That's the thing. Thank you. So my story is actually my brother's story. Like a good second child, I did everything my older brother did. So I actually asked him maybe like a few months back, like, wait, why do we like Arsenal again? Like, I love it and I'm not going to ever stop. But I was like, but why? Like, you're the one that made us love Arsenal. And it was insane how quickly it came to him. And I'm hearing you guys all talk about these memories that you have about why you love Arsenal. And it's like a light like faded on him, and it was just a spotlight on him. And he was like, 2011 Arsenal versus Barca at home, that 2-1 victory where Arswin gets the winning goal. And he just said, like, that moment made me feel the same way that I felt when Mexico scores a goal in the World Cup. He was like, I would just felt elated. I naturally felt excited. And, like the rest is history. And, like we just started following suit. And even though he said it at that moment, that's how I felt. That's how I feel as well when it comes to Arsenal. I think that's the best explanation. We feel that same emotion that we feel like when we're watching our national team in the World Cup and we're watching them play. So in the good and the bad, we're just always there. And I guess I started later because it was like after 2011 to like 2012. So I've kind of, I like, it's funny to hear, not funny in a bad way, but it's funny to hear everybody talk about like the Invincible era, because I guess I didn't really get into it. I can only imagine what that felt like to see like a winning Arsenal. Like, I would love to have that. But since then, it's just been that for me. It's just been that love and, the falls, the disappointments and everything. And what you guys are all saying about that network, because it's mind-blowing to me right now. I'm definitely in creep mode. I'm about to say this, but like I know Taylor from like the Arsenal stuff on Instagram. So it's crazy to like see him on here. It's cool to see MK. I know that like she runs all the accounts and everything. So definitely. I think the network is amazing. I think the people are amazing. And Sophie didn't know that I was an Arsenal fan when we were covering Galaxy together. And as soon as I told her, she was just like, oh, awesome. Like it just like that connection instantly. So yeah, I feel the love. I feel the comfort all the time, whether on the internet or in person. So really cool to be able to like have the gang together.
I love it. All right, cool. So we know how everyone fell in love with Arsenal. here's what I want to ask you guys in a very quick fire scenario. And, we're going to go a little bit over an hour, everyone. So buckle up. If you want to stay tuned, great. If you've got to go to bed, go to bed. We're just going to hang out for as long as we want. And this will be available to listen to on replay. So we just did a show where we talked about our favorite current 5 Arsenal players. Not based on talent, not based on form, not based on anything other than your favorites, players that you love. So I want to know from you guys who your current favorite 5 are. There were some people that we asked that couldn't even get to 5. They only wanted to mention 3, which tells you a little bit about our team, but even though it's improved. So MK, I'm going to start with you.
Sure.
Tell us who your favorite current 5 are.
So obviously it goes without saying Aubameyang, right? Because he's so central to our squad. I would say Bellerin as well. I know he's come under criticism recently, but I still think he's an essential component to the squad. And then those are my 2 personal favorites. I do have a soft spot for Lacazette, just being that he is French, I suppose, is part of me. I do like Nicolas Pepe as well. I think that he's extremely talented, and I'm just waiting to kind of see him have that perfect run of consistency where he's doing what we signed him to do. I guess how would I round out the top 5? Those are the guys that are my favorites. I would probably say, those are my favorites.
You don't even have to make it 5. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to be just put someone in there. Favorites. Yeah,
you don't have to. All right. So, Tiff, I'm going to go to you next. Who your top 5 current Arsenal favorite lads?
Okay. Tierney, Leno, who was one of the nicest people that I met on the tour, as was Mustafi. I see that question. Was actually an incredibly nice guy that was on the tour, but I can't put him in my top 5 players. That's crazy.
Good dancer.
Holding, Bellerin, and Aubameyang.
Okay. Taylor, what about your 5?
So I think that Auba's a given. I have to say Bellerin just because he is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And I do think that he's sort of a staple of what it means to be an Arsenal supporter right now. Saka has to be number 3 for me. I think I have to throw Martinelli in there, even though we haven't seen him in a while. I just see so much potential there. And the last one's a toss-up between Tierney and Pepe.
Yeah. Well, Tierney had the best-selling shirt after Project Restart. That tells you a lot about the impact he's had on the team. And I think it's the Tesco bag. So to equate it to the US, it's kind of like holding... It's not Trader Joe's. It's not Ralph's. It's not Vaughn's. Is it Vaughn's? Is it Vaughn's?
Yeah, 7-Eleven even maybe.
Yeah. Nobody in Louisiana and Texas knows what the hell that is.
I would say like a 7-Eleven.
What's the parent company?
Yeah.
What's the
I know what Tesco is, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Okay. Jessica, what's your top 5, babe?
Laka. Whether or not that's popular right now, I'm going to give in Twitter. It's an unpopular opinion, but I love Laka.
Laka's cool.
Yes. I love that despite when he had his goal drought, that his determination and his love for the club and his mentorship of the youngsters never wavered. I like Saka. Again, everyone's going to say Oba, but there's a reason. That it's not just what a leader he is and what an incredible striker he is, but his energy is something that we need on the pitch and off the pitch, and that attitude. Tierney, I think of him immediately. I know he's very much the future. And I think when I think Tierney, I think grit.
Do you think of Braveheart? Do you ever picture Mel Gibson in that scene?
You may take our lives, but you will take our freedom.
I have family in Scotland that will stop talking to you if you bring up Braveheart.
I work on that movie. It's a great movie.
Mel Gibson.
It is a great movie. Yeah.
No, yeah, grit for me. I don't think Mel Gibson. I think grit. But and Martinelli.
Oh my God, I can't wait till he comes back.
It's going to be incredible. I think that he's one of those that I believe he's young, and that kind of injury, I don't believe he's going to have a lot of setbacks with it. I think he's been very determined.
I agree, and he's huge now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think that also, if you have to give Tierney, I think if you needed to give him an actor, he's more of a Tom Hardy to me.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I could see that in that movie where he's in the car the whole
I love
time.
Tom Hardy in what was that show on Netflix?
Peaky Blinders.
Oh my God, he's the best.
Yeah.
Because he's the Jew, but like I love him.
Yeah,
It's
tribalism right there.
So I'll take anyone.
He's all into the tribalism.
One of my favorites right here, throwing it into. Okay, so Mike, why don't we go to you for your favorite five?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cedric and Kolasinac and no, I'm just kidding.
Kiss ass.
I gotta go with Saka. I mean, Saka
is the future.
The future. I mean, he's the future not only of Arsenal but of England, and it is coming home at some point. Martinelli, I'm nervous about his return because we've seen with Arsenal players so often that when they first come back from injury, we've seen it with Bellerin twice. We've seen it with Holding. I mean, it just isn't the same as right before the injury. So I hope he's not like jaded and rushed off if he has a few bad performances. But Saka, Martinelli, it's the Gooners pod, by the way.
I know I missed the S. I just wanted to put it up there so you would correct me.
Thank you. Saka, Martinelli, Abba for the energy he brings, like was said before, and he'll come good this season. It's all going to equal out. Tierney, Gabriel, and I'm going to add someone that hasn't been probably no one else will say, which is Mainsley. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, a.k.a. Mainsley. There's a long story behind that name.
He was number 6 on mine, actually.
If he doesn't play against Leeds, I'm going to be really upset.
He is. I mean, if you want to talk about like people who are Arsenal, he's Arsenal. Youth team dealt with some chicanery having to go on with his mom's situation. I mean, it hasn't been an easy ride for him, but he is a full-fledged. I mean, he's an England national. So he should be an Arsenal regular at this point. And so that's kind of my sentimental favorite on the club.
Well, maybe when Arteta stops picking his favorites, then Maitland-Niles will get a bit of a shot.
Yeah, that's gotta change.
Also a really good kid. I mean, if personality plays into it. He's so nice. He was one of the greatest people on the tour. Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to add Eddie Nketiah to my 5th, since no one mentioned him. I think
he was
also
good
really phenomenal. Yeah, they called him Steady Eddie in Leeds.
He scored in the Jessica game too.
He did. Amelia, why don't you give us your top 5?
Is that what it's called?
Okay, I'm gonna kind of cheat at the end. You'll see why.
Oh, I like it. I like a bit of cheating.
Alba,
Vela.
No.
Bellerin, Tierney, and Miedema for the
Now I look like a douche.
Now we got to put Williamson in there. Now we have to talk about these other
female players.
Taylor, you did your list, no?
I said I wanted to change it to mostly female players.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're higher up in the standings. Let's just make it
no
I
problem.
look like a complete ass now. Thank you, Amelia.
All right, so here we get to some fun stuff, right? So now we know your favorite players. Everyone in chat, you can play along too. You love this kind of stuff. And, this is why we created the lockdown series. It might not be the same for every state here in the United States, but in the UK especially, it's been a really difficult time. Everyone's been in lockdown. They're going to be in lockdown till early December. Turns out now in California, I'm going to be in lockdown. So maybe you guys can prep some shows for me. But no. Okay. Jokes aside, here we go. 3 players, right? It's not it's like a marry, kill kind of game we're going to play right here. Okay. But I've switched it up a little bit. So we've got a one-night stand, who you want your back in a bar brawl, and who you're going to be stuck on Castaway Island with. And the 3 players are Adebayor, Nasri, and Robin van Persie.
Oh,
so
I had a question like this last night on another podcast that I invited you on. So Oh, those three people are just the worst.
Okay, this is what makes it really fun and amazing. And no, not Gabrielle yet. You can't have that one. Sorry. So okay, so MK, I'm going to start with you. So we've got
what were the Rubik's?
One night stand, who you want your back in a bar brawl, and who you want to be stuck on a castaway island style with. So you got Adebayor, Nasri, and Robin van Persie.
Okay, so to back me up in a fight, I feel like probably Nasri because he likes to run his mouth, and so that's probably who I'd go with there for a little guy. What were the other two choices? Stuck on an island and
Stuck on an island, and then the one night stand.
Well, one night stand's going to be with Robin van Persie, right? I mean, he's beautiful. He's quite a silver fox now. Put that out there. And I suppose that would leave Adebayor to be stranded on the island with. So
that's going to be handy. Yeah, it's going to be tough. All right. So, and also, Mike, you know, we love playing these games with boys and girls. You guys are used to this now because, you know, we'll do the other show with the ladies team at some point. But right, Mike,
I'll do that.
Who's your one night stand? Who's your bar brawl? And who's your island?
Oh my God. My one night stand would be Nasri because after that I would never ever have to see him again.
That's oh, Mike.
I mean, I do not. Let me just make sure that it's clear that I do not want to have sex with Sam or Nasri. I'm just saying that, you know, if forced to, no. Look, that would be the worst night of my life, and then I would. He would be injecting himself with various things, and
this is a quick fire round, by the way. It's quick fire.
Okay. All right. Well, then bar brawl, P Island. That is my answer.
Who was the island? Froze for a minute.
The bar brawl, having my back would be Adebayor, and then the stuck on an island would be RVP, so we could really talk through what the little boy in him really actually felt.
Right. Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
All right, go on, Sam.
So I was gonna say the same thing as Mike, except for RVP, one night stand, because I never want to see him again. Also, bar brawl, I had Adebayor because he's a physical unit, right? But then I also thought I'd rather have him on the island. So Nasri has to be in the bar brawl so that hopefully I never have to see him again. Maybe he'll get like hauled off in a car or something.
That's true. If he sucks at bar brawls, then at least you get to run out.
Exactly.
Yeah, Adebayor would be pretty interesting on the island though to pick his brain a little bit.
Exactly. I tolerate him, I guess, the most.
All right, Jessica, quick fire. Bust through them.
So I'm going to do Adebayor on the desert islands.
Yeah.
I just feel there's going to be a little bit more conversation. Either that or, you know, hit him with a coconut, you know. The one night stand would be RVP, and Nasri and the bar brawl, and because I can get my mouth running, and then he has to get there, and then I'll duck, and he gets.
Yeah, he can cash the checks in a bar brawl, I think.
So
okay, who do?
Wait, I'm going to answer quickly because then I have to run and grab my cord because I'm woefully underprepared. Adebayor has to have my back. Nasri can be the one night stand. Van Persie can be on the island, but then I'm setting it on fire. I'll be right back.
I'll never forget you said that.
Amelia, you got your kids, so you can answer this however you want. You could just do the island and the bar brawl.
Nasri for the one night because there's like an anger weird thing that I'll just get over with. Adebayor for the brawl. And then Van Persie on the island because his kid's name is Shaquille, and I have so many questions for that, and I just feel like that'll open up many more questions that we could just have on that island.
I love that
at that moment.
All right, perfect. Okay, so here we go. One for all of you. So this is the first one, and then everyone answers one by one. Okay. Anfield 89 or the Invincibles?
Oh,
that's almost meaner than the.
I can answer it already. Invincibles, because like I said, I just want to feel that
generational.
Feeling. Yeah.
I think it's a generational thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Invincibles
It's
for
like
me too.
asking which one of your kids do you love the most, isn't it?
I'm the male Amanda, but with bigger breasts, and and so you know what the answer to the question is going to be for me about 89.
Yeah.
Mike, we gotta hang out more, man. The laughs keep coming.
No,
Okay.
Taylor, you don't. Taylor.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Tiff will tell you that that's really overrated. The experience, it seems like it would be fun, but then in reality, it's just not.
No,
What do you? Go on, Jessica.
yeah, I'm gonna go with 8. This isn't easy. This is actually harder than the desert island stuff, honestly. But because I was a fan during the Invincible, I would want 89 because I didn't get to feel that. I only get to feel it in retrospect. So
The funny thing is, I'm the opposite. I actually was unplugged from Arsenal. I mean, I hate this, but there was a decade plus where I wasn't able to follow Arsenal between when I lived in London and when I kind of fell back into it in 2006 at the Champions League final because of coverage in the US, because of what I was doing in my life. So, you know, I lived there from 88 to 90. I experienced Anfield 89, the whole situation. And then I came back in after the Invincibles. So it's easy for me to say 89, but so it's the opposite of Jessica's situation. But I mean, do you understand what happened at Anfield on May 26, 1989? I mean, it was 18,000 times what happened with Sergio Aguero's goal. It was the most incredible finish to a season ever, and you cannot ever. I know that it's been done before. In fact, it's been done before by Manchester City.
It was very different. They were at home. They just needed,
I know.
You know, you're going to Liverpool at that time in the 80s where they were the European guru.
Right after the disaster as well.
Yeah, exactly, MK.
Drama's been done before. The Invincibles hasn't been done before, although, you know, if you talk about Preston North End, I suppose. But that was earth-shattering, and that's the reason 30 years later I'm still an Arsenal supporter. So for me personally, nothing against any, you know, for me you can't. I mean, I've spent my entire life exploring and digging into that moment in time because I regret not being in Liverpool for that, but I was in London for that.
Quick fire round. I love reminding him that this is.
I don't think he's certified to talk about that.
No, that's fine. This is fantastic. By the way, Colorado Gooner, I don't shirk from anything. I'll tell you who my one night stand bar brawl and stuck on the Castaway Island with is. Adebayor is my one night stand. Nasri is my bar brawl because he's a bad boy, and RVP would be my castaway because we could talk about Dutch football. You know, we could talk about a little bit of gossip. Anyway, let's get to the next one. This is a good one. This will light the chat on fire as well. Arsenal to win the Champions League or Spurs to be relegated from the Premier League? Which one would you take?
We would rather win the Champions League, right? I mean, as much as we all hate Spurs, I mean, that's the one big trophy that we've yet to get. I'm tired of listening to Chelsea fans, berate us over that. And, and United fans as well. It's something that we've come so close to. I'll never forget 2006 and how much that just so hurt just so much. It's probably one of the worst experiences of being an Arsenal fan. And I think there's no question. I don't think it's even debatable that it's winning the Champions League.
Taylor?
Yeah, I would say that our Arsenal's success in a European tournament such as that takes any sort of priority over whatever happens to a team that we all can't stand. As long as we're doing better than them, as long as we have some bit of success, I think that's what would make the majority of us happy. Although it would be hilarious to see them get relegated, I will say that.
I believe we're still the only team to never be relegated from top flight football. Jessica, what would your choice be?
The Champions League. That's long lasting. You know, we would laugh about Tottenham for a little bit and tease them forever, but having that trophy is there, and that's we need that.
Okay, Amelia, what would you choose?
Yeah, Champions League. Like I said, I want to feel that glory myself. And then my kids are old enough now where they probably remember it too. So I definitely want to share that with them.
Tiff, come on, girl. Let's go.
Always Arsenal first. Always Arsenal first.
That's our tagline. You know.
Oh, wait. Well, okay, but can I give a caveat? Because
Always
if it were like, having to choose between, we won this or they were going to like win the league.
Oof.
Then
I didn't ask that question because I haven't. this season's given me the heebie-jeebies, but go on.
Then no, it would be them being launched into the sun. And us being, our nice middling selves that we seem to be right now. But I will take our success over anybody else's failure anytime.
And our success is their failure. So
okay, Mike.
Well
did
said,
you
okay.
Mike? You didn't answer yet, did you?
Yeah, I mean, you got to go with Arsenal winning the Champions League. I mean, think of how you would have felt if Tottenham had beat Liverpool a couple years ago.
Oh God, I switched the game off for the last 15 minutes. I couldn't deal with it.
I'm normally vomiting, but I was vomiting constantly through that game. And also think about how the whole situation with Celtic and Rangers has been over the last 10 years or so. When Rangers, I think Celtic didn't know what they had until it was gone. And when Rangers were like 3 divisions lower, trying to work their way back up, which they finally did, I think it ruined it a little bit for Celtic. It was too easy. It was a job that even Brendan Rodgers could do. So I wouldn't want to see Tottenham relegated. If the other option.
It's funny because Adam, two of my favorite guys on TalkSport, Adam Cattrall and Jason Cundy, who's a great guy, they were talking about failure, relishing more failure of your rivals than success of your own team. So, for example, if United had beat Tottenham 6-1 and we'd have lost, or we'd have won, there'd be more pleasure in seeing Tottenham get thrashed than us beating a team like 3-2 or whatever. And I'm gonna actually say that I would get so much pleasure in seeing Tottenham relegated than winning the Champions League. I know that might be an unpopular opinion, but the pleasure in that and the kind of tsunami that would follow would just be absolutely wonderful. So that's my choice. Okay, here we go. There's another one for you here.
Moving fast now on that one.
Would you rather be stuck in an elevator with Arsene Wenger or Mikel Arteta?
Arsene Wenger.
That was so easy for MK.
Yeah, I'm imagining for Jessica as well.
Is it Jessica? Well, she might want to make out with Mikel. I don't know. She's got that cheeky face going on right now.
Oh, that's actually really hard. No, it would have to be Wenger. Just yeah, it would. That's a hard decision. I like Arteta is so much in our future, but I've got so many things to ask Wenger.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good conversation. The reason I asked this question is because I got stuck in an elevator with Francis Ford Coppola once, and I was
Francis Coquelin?
Francis Ford Coppola, the film director. Yeah, he didn't have a bottle of his wine, but no. Tiff, who would you rather be stuck in an elevator with?
Arteta.
I think it would be fun. Yeah.
I'm not worried about the fun. I want to talk to him about what's happening right now. Like Wenger's in the past. We have to talk about what's happening right now. So if I'm trapped,
get some answers, Tiff. Tiff wants answers right now. Let's go. Awesome. Okay, Amelia.
Yeah, I am with Tiff. I kind of want, if I'm stuck there right now in present day, I want to be like, man, do you know what you're doing? Do you know what you're also kind of cheating? I used to work in a cafe in Santa Monica like 4 years ago, and Arsene Wenger was riding a bicycle down the pier, and like me and 3 other Arsenal fans said hi to him, and he waved back. So I feel like in a very strange, weird way, I feel like I've gotten my Wenger dosage. So now to be able to be in like an elevator with Arteta, I'd be awesome. Like I had them both in like some sort of
any other circumstance. If it's lunch, it's Arsene Wenger. because it's interesting. If I'm trapped and I have a finite amount of time,
it's
Arteta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taylor?
It's a good point.
I have to choose Arteta because I feel like he would be the more resourceful of the two in that situation. I just feel like he would tinker our way out of there somehow.
Taylor understands.
Wenger would just be like, "You do it."
Taylor's looking outside the box. He'd be like, "I don't even want to talk to him. I just want to get out the elevator."
No.
Wait. Wenger would be like, if you were a vital piece of this squad, you could figure out what position to put yourself in to get us out of this mess.
Right? So how tall he is, and then I'm 4'10", he's just going to launch me into the little,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Mike, did you
It's all
answer?
survival now.
I don't know if this is like a male female thing, but like Taylor, I'm right there with you. Everyone's been talking about who would be more interesting to talk to. I'm like, I don't want to talk to either one of you.
Get out of
I want to get out of the goddamn elevator
right now.
And I don't think Arsene Wenger can get us out of the elevator because he's still, because he's still putting up his, his choice for elevator solutions, and he's not adapting to the environment. So absolutely, Mikel Arteta, we're getting out of that goddamn elevator.
Okay, this one you guys have to think fast and answer fast, because then I also have by the way, you're listening to the Highbury Squad. We've gone stateside. This has been a long time coming. We've got some incredible guests on here. And we're loving this show, and we're having a little bit of fun. This isn't about tactics or formation. This is about just having fun and getting a little sense of the personalities and characters of these really important people that run organizations that are related to Arsenal here in the United States, huge fans, and that they do amazing things. Okay, so this one I need you to think fast on, because I don't have players attached to it, right? And this could be any Arsenal player ever, right? Ooh. And then we'll get onto the Thanksgiving section for you Americans. My favorite holiday as a Brit. Okay. 3 options. Luxury yacht holiday. You take home for Thanksgiving to your family, or you go on a pub crawl. Luxury yacht holiday. You take home for Thanksgiving dinner with your family, or you go on a pub crawl.
I think we're all going to say Ray Parlour for the pub crawl.
I was just going to say that, and I was hoping that I was not going to be seen as unoriginal. But
or Paul Merson, but that would be wrong for so many reasons.
Absolutely no chance that I can keep up with Ray Parlour.
Yeah,
no chance.
No, there's no keeping up. No.
All right, Jessica, you jumped in. Let's have your answers. The pub crawl, take home to your family for Thanksgiving, luxury yacht holiday. This inspired by I'm going to admit something right now. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned, but my guilty pleasure is watching Below Deck.
What?
I like that you like
see the commercial.
I'm back.
Without wondering what's happening.
Sorry.
My wife watches that show.
Please do not judge
what
me
is that?
In any. Oh, Amelia, I'm going to have to share this with
it's
you.
It's about a yacht crew.
It's the best. It's the best reality TV. I don't watch reality TV, but that, wow. I think it's because of the cooking. I'm Greek. I love food. And then the vistas, Below Deck Mediterranean. But anyway, I digress. Jessica, back to you.
It's because of the vistas that you fucking vistas.
Yeah. Okay. So pub crawl would be Ray. Thanksgiving bird camp. And the luxury yacht. I'm gonna say Zaka, because he seems to like the finer things. And
nice, very nice. I like those choices.
Who?
Not over the top like Opus Cars, but he likes stuff, So I have a feeling he would know how to be on a yacht.
All right.
He's also very nice.
Yes,
he's also very nice.
I would imagine that.
Who wants to go next? Who's ready with their list?
Mike's ready.
All right, Mike. This is quick fire, yeah?
Pub crawl, Perry Groves.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
which is actually a prize in Gooners versus Cancer, by the way, which somebody won. So,
oh wow,
that's me, and I bought all the damn tickets, and it wasn't me.
It was a random draw. I couldn't help it. Take home to my family, David Rocastle.
Oh,
Come on, Mike.
Come on, don't make me cry.
By the way,
Jesus.
we're very close to having Ryan Rocastle join.
Oh, that's amazing.
So take home, David Rocastle. Luxury yacht, Matthew Flamini.
Ooh,
Because it's his yacht, and
too.
we're gonna have some damn good fucking champagne on that.
Okay.
Dang.
That's a really bad carbon footprint, though. Would he do that?
You know, well, look.
That's a good
I'm
point.
sure it would run on wind. It would
I'm
be
about
a
having a good
sailboat.
time. I'm about having a good time.
All right, who's ready next? Who wants to go next?
I'll go since I shared one with Mike.
Go on, Taylor.
So first is Flamini because, dollar bills. He has a lot of them apparently. Pub crawl has to be Rasicki because we're both brothers in metal and we could probably put back a lot of beer together.
Nice.
And then also Thanksgiving with the fam has to be Sokka. He just seems like such a lovely guy. I don't know.
I like that.
Something about him.
Yeah, good choices. Right, who's next?
No one's chosen.
Go on, MK.
chosen Birdie me yet. I'm surprised.
Go on, MK.
I'm gonna go a little odd. Go ahead.
Oh, you're going Tiff. Go on, Tiff.
Go ahead, Tiff. Your battery is low. You go for it.
Yeah.
No, I'm plugged in now.
Oh, okay.
She's all tinny plugged in over there.
I'm sure Tierney might be in her list. I think for me it's going to be Arshavin for the pub crawl. I just feel like it would be a wild time.
I like that.
Nostrovia. So
Great article out about him today, by the way.
I would say Henri to bring home for Thanksgiving. And was the luxury yacht? I mean, Aubameyang. I mean, that guy just looks like he lives on yachts.
I love that.
Tiff.
Okay, so Thierry Henry is on my yacht, and I'm not going to explain that one. Aaron Ramsey can come home for Thanksgiving and home forever. And I would go on a pub crawl with Lucas Podolski.
Oh, that's a great
one.
I like
Sounds
that.
dangerous.
I love that. That's very
Doesn't
dangerous.
it? Oh my God, sounds so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Amelia, what about you, mate?
You said any players, right? Ever? Anywhere?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going on the luxury yacht holiday with Bella because I just want to ask questions about everything. I'm taking Henri home to the family for my brothers because I know they would love to talk to him. And then the pub crawl, I think I would go with Aubameyang. I don't know. It just seems like it could be a good time.
Yeah, I think he would be fun too. And then he'd probably call Lacazette, so Laka would come in. Yeah. And before you know it, he'd probably call Socrates as well, to be honest with you, because he adores Socrates. Man amo Socrates, my boy. It's not ended well for him. Okay, so Mike, did we get yours? Yep. Okay, so everyone's done on that one. So mine are luxury yacht holiday, righty. It would never end. The party would never end. Take home Henri because I think he'd be nice. He'd just talk intellectual stuff with my family. They'd be really impressed. And then the pub crawl has to be Ray Parlour. All right, we're going to move to Thanksgiving right now. Okay, we're an hour and 17 minutes in. We'll try and keep this to an hour and a half. I'm sure for some of you getting tired, or are you ready to keep rolling?
Yep. All night.
And as Logan Lockhart said, it's 1 hour 17, but this podcast has flown by. That is that's a good indication as to people having fun. I actually have two sections. So before I get to Thanksgiving, I'm going to throw this one to you because I have American pop culture. So this one's really quick fire. Right. I'm going to start with you, Tiff. Khaleesi or Rey from Star Wars?
Khaleesi.
Ben Affleck or Matt Damon?
Matt Damon. Oh my God, all day.
Host Saturday Night Live once or be the new host of Jeopardy?
Oh, Jeopardy.
Be governor of your state or president of the United States?
President.
Robbie Earl or Robbie Mustoe? Ooh.
Mustoe.
Okay, I'm going to ask the same and then you'll all answer consecutively, okay? So Taylor, Khaleesi or Rey from Star Wars?
Rey.
Jessica?
Rey.
Amelia?
Sorry, my kids were destroying something.
That's okay. I love that. Khaleesi or Rey from Star Wars?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yes.
You know what, Khaleesi, just so I could get mad at actual actress about what happened with the last season.
All right, I like that.
If we're going
Mike,
with it.
do you know who they are, Mike?
You guys are nerds. I don't know who either one of them are, but I heard that the Khaleesi. I heard the Khaleesi used to take her shirt off, so I'm going to go with the Khaleesi.
How about I do this one for you? Khaleesi or Princess Leia?
Prime Princess Leia. Is,
There you go. MK, Khaleesi or Rey from Star Wars?
Khaleesi.
Ben Affleck or Matt Damon?
Matt Damon.
Mike?
I like Matt Damon better.
Amelia?
Matt Damon.
Jessica?
Damon.
Taylor?
Matt Damon.
It's you.
All right.
Wow.
This one, this is why I started with Tiff, because I wanted her to like kind of set the bar. So for me, like host Saturday Night Live once or be the host of Jeopardy forever. Taylor?
Jeopardy forever, hands down.
Jess?
SNL.
Amelia?
SNL, because I do not trust myself to host Jeopardy forever.
Mike, is that an SNL poster or are you bringing something else up? Is it a Jeopardy? Are you on Jeopardy?
I love
This
how
is
we all
me
just
on-
like got close to our screen.
No, this is me on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's a whole retro of that from
Of course we
25.
were.
Oh my
From
God.
21
Who was
years
your
ago.
phone? Who was your phone a friend?
It was my stepfather, and I was on in the first 3 weeks of the show when it was actually on national television. And I'm a game show guy, so I would host Jeopardy in a minute before I would be once.
What about you, MK?
Jeopardy. I'm a huge trivia fan.
Yeah.
hmm
Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
Rip.
Okay, all of you answer at the same time, other than Tiff, of course. Be governor of your state or president of the United States.
Governor.
Governor. hmm
Yeah, governor, more power. Robbie
None
Earl
of you
or
want
Robbie,
my job.
Robbie Earl or Robbie Masto?
Earl.
Earl.
Musto.
Mike doesn't like either of them.
Mike's frozen.
Yeah, I'm back. What was
Okay.
the question?
Robbie Earl or Robbie Musto?
I got to go with Robbie Earl.
Okay, so everyone, this is our American episode. We've gone stateside, and next week is Thanksgiving. And as a Brit who has been living in the United States I moved here 2 months before 9/11. I love this country. I don't give a shit what anyone says about America right now. The people make America great. And I love the people of this country. I have met some of my best friends. I've created a new family here. And to me, this is now home. Even though I go home as often as I can during the year, the US is amazing. And this is why we also wanted to bring a show that highlighted what goes on out here and how many great Arsenal fans there are out here too. Thanksgiving. I've actually been eating clean to save calories for Thanksgiving. 4 days of binging. This is going to be me. So Thanksgiving questions for my gooners, some of my favorite gooners here. I never understand why the Cowboys are America's team. I don't get it. All right. So first one is, and this is to all of you, and you can all jump in whenever you want. America's team, the Cowboys or anyone else in the NFL?
Anyone else?
Anyone else.
Well,
I hate the NFL.
I'm not an
so
NFL
stupid
fan
at this
either.
point.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys. I live in Washington D.C., which is probably the largest rivalry with the Cowboys, and I just
Well,
don't
I'm a
get it.
Giants fan, so yeah, likewise, same division. We don't like the Cowboys.
I don't.
Hold on one second, James. We've talked about our favorite Arsenal players. We've been on an island. We've gone to a bar brawl. We've done it all. It's a different kind of show. Just
James has
sit
been
back,
whining
relax.
the whole time.
Listen, I love it. Go back to work, have a cup of tea, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow, wait till tomorrow's episode when I just read a freaking poem out loud to everybody. You'll love it. Okay, so we're all under the impression, we're all in agreement that anyone else other than Cowboys. Okay. Best Thanksgiving episodes, Friends or Seinfeld?
Seinfeld.
MK, did you just say Seinfeld?
I can't stand Friends. I don't know. Maybe it's because I grew up in New York and just see it as like one of the, like, I just feel like Seinfeld is more New York to me. Well, it is.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. What about you? What about you, Amelia?
I never watched Seinfeld. I'm indifferent to Friends, so this is a really weird question for me. But I think because I've watched one and not the other, I'm gonna go with MK's answer. I'm gonna go with Seinfeld because this is a collaborative pod. So I'm gonna go with that one
Tiff,
instead.
I'm guessing you're a Friends Thanksgiving episode because Seinfeld doesn't have as many iconic Thanksgiving episodes.
They don't actually have
I was
any.
actually gonna.
Not really explicitly.
Can I go with Bob's Burgers?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Lauren
I don't
Bouchard, very
remember.
good.
I don't remember any of the episodes for Friends or Seinfeld for Thanksgiving because I was too busy watching Arsenal.
On Thanksgiving?
Yeah, because they were always playing. Well, it used to be the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving they would play, but now it's the Thursday night on. So yes, I'm normally watching Arsenal.
No, I mean, there are every season of Friends. There's a Thanksgiving episode, but there are the only holiday outwardly celebrated on Seinfeld is Festivus.
I love
Yes,
Festivus.
that is
And
true.
I have a Festivus magnet on my refrigerator.
I have a
never
pole
really
in my
got-
house. I have a pole in my house.
I won a
I'm glad you have a pole in
like
my house.
Seinfeld trivia contest.
Taylor,
Sophie,
what's
I have
your?
to-
Go on, Taylor.
I was gonna special shout out to the Passover Rugrats episode, but I have to go with Friends.
I love this
No,
show.
that's for you,
Can I
Mike.
just- can I-
We could do any holiday with The Simpsons. I'm happy with too.
I was
Listen.
about to say The Simpsons is you can't go wrong.
We'll do a US post game show where we talk about tactics and inverted wingers and
my
pivots
local
in
basketball
midfield. But
club
this
just-
is not that show. I love
My
this.
local basketball club just drafted a Jew, so I'm loving it right now.
All right, you're flying that flag tonight. Right. Okay. Big question. Mashed potatoes or sweet potatoes?
Oh, mashed.
Mashed.
Smash.
Mashed.
Oh, sweet potatoes.
Yeah, I'm a sweet potato girl too.
Man.
Okay.
So
With
I
cinnamon
like
and brown
those, but I
sugar.
usually make mashed because the kids prefer them. Because I'm the big Thanksgiving cook, so I usually make mashed, but I do like both.
Okay. Last one. Thanksgiving Day leftover sandwiches or let's go get tacos?
Oh,
make
no, you
those
keep eating Thanksgiving food.
I make a soup with it.
I make the best
Mhm.
leftover sandwiches with like sliders. That's what I do.
With the dinner rolls.
Yeah,
Yes,
the crusted
the dinner
roll. We
rolls.
gotta get
Yeah.
the
The
crusted
Hawaiian,
roll,
the Hawaiian
batter in
roll.
there. Mm.
Yeah.
No, I make yeast rolls. And they're amazing.
What about
And put it
Thanksgiving
all.
tacos?
Or tamales. We eat tamales at my house.
Maskana said that Thanksgiving came 6 weeks ago, and Guna Kirk correctly says no, it's just coming up. And we
Well, it's already
even have
passed in Canada.
I was-
oh,
yeah, I think they're referring to Canada.
we
yeah.
even have FIFA boy Darren, who's in Wales, in Cardiff, saying he loves sweet potatoes. So, and then
But
I
he's
hate
wrong.
talking. Yeah.
He's wrong, unfortunately.
All right. So here's the scoop. We have a few minutes left, and we'll end it on how about the game this weekend against Leeds? All right. And, I know we've had a little bit of fun tonight. I just wanted it to be fun. I wanted kind of to just not talk about just the usual stuff. So Leeds is a really important game. We have Wolves, then we have Spurs. I think this is the most critical 3 weeks in Mikel Arteta's Arsenal career. I don't think we can afford to lose too many of these games, and I don't think we can afford to lose to Jose Mourinho twice on the trot. So I'm going to come to you guys, step in whenever you want. Leeds versus Arsenal. They're a very explosive counter-attacking team. We haven't been able to really combat that very well this season. We saw that against Aston Villa. They also concede a lot of goals too, but the problem is we don't score a lot of goals, right? So, Taylor, I'm going to start with you. Leeds versus Arsenal. Arteta definitely needs to mix things up and make some changes. What are your thoughts heading into this really important match?
We're both teams are coming off losses. They had the 4-1 to, I believe it was Palace. And you just hit the nail on the head here. We're not really scoring goals, even though they're letting goals in. I think that Arteta needs to change things up or people will go nuclear. So I would really like to see Aubameyang playing in the center. I think it is time. I don't think we can wait anymore to at least try it. And with that being said, I think Pepe has got to start this game. And I'll leave the rest to the rest of my fellow Gooners here. But those are the two that I really feel very strongly about.
Yeah,
MK,
I'll
what do
go
you
ahead
think?
and
I'll go on, Amelia.
Yeah, because I have to go. My children have officially
Yeah. They've started
terrorizing
to like
everything.
throw things at you.
I'm here. I think it's one of. Yeah, same here with Taylor. I think it's just one of those games that just absolutely needs to have some kind of turnaround. I think Alba needs to just, in the center, get his goal scoring again and just pick up there. So hopefully we get a win. It'll be a good, nice little welcoming from the international break. So that's all I'm going to say too. I'll leave it off. Thank you guys so much for having me. Sorry, I had
Amelia,
technical
take care.
difficulties.
Thank you for joining in the fun, and we'll definitely talk more football next time. Oh my God, there's a black cat. You bring out the black cat when we're talking about the Leeds game?
He's my best friend. It's okay.
Is he reliable?
Yeah, he's,
oh my
he's
God,
my best friend in the whole world.
Reliable. Is that a good idea?
Is that a good idea? Is it like Smelly Cat? Is it like Phoebe Smelly Cat? I mean,
he's perfect.
What's happening? Oh
It's
my
not
God.
your fault.
Yeah. Tiff, what do you think about the game?
I think I'm scared. I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'm working early these days, but I'm a little scared. I think we definitely have to reinforce the back, and I'm hoping for, honestly, best case, a draw. I think we're not doing our predictions here, but I would say a 1-1 draw, and I too would love to see Pepe start. But the Leeds can park a bus really well, and I think we're going to have to do a bit of that on protecting that side so that we can allow our those with the skill to move forward and try and get around that, because if you leave it open, they're going to find it, and that I don't want that concerned.
Yeah, they're lethal going forward.
Not so eloquent with it right now, but I'm concerned.
No, that's fine. That's
what
good.
You get at 11 p.m.
It's all of my bar brawl questions that got everyone going. Jessica, what do you think about Leeds? What are your expectations after the international break?
Well, I had two immediate thoughts right when you brought it up. One, Sophie, you said that we needed to win these next 3 weeks, but if we don't win, and I don't mean not just a draw, we need to win this weekend. I am really concerned about how the fan base will go and how the dressing room will feel. Those reports of Luis punching Ceballos doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence in how things are going in this interlull. I am hopeful, but I think it's the most crucial. This match this weekend, we need those 3 points for the dressing room and for us, and for Arteta, just for that collection. I also agreed with Taylor. That was my other thought that came immediately, is that Oba needed to be in the center. We need to try it out. He does well wherever he is, but we aren't trying that position, and I want to see Tierney start. I want to see Saka, and really, I don't know what do we have? Do we have a what am I thinking? I'm exhausted.
Who are you thinking? Maitland-Niles, Bellerin?
I'm thinking about Partey in that.
Partey will be in midfield. He'll definitely start.
100%.
I couldn't remember what had happened when he came off the other day, so I couldn't remember. But yeah,
I think he's ready to go. He should be starting this game for sure.
And you know what? If I could just piggyback on that for a second, because we were talking when you were saying about how that it gives you some sense of what's happening in the locker room and what's happening with training. And I think I read a tweet earlier today. I want to say it was Yankee Gunner that made a really good point in that, when it is when the culture is how we frame it, right? So if there's a lot of angst happening in training or in the locker room, but it transfers itself into a win on the pitch, then they say that the culture was just this.
A lot of hindsight.
Go get 'em.
A lot of hindsight involved.
It's always hindsight. And so on the flip side of that, if they lose, then it was because the culture was negative. But the culture, as defined, is always bent to the results versus necessarily defining it. It gives us some idea, but I think that we don't really know. And
No.
I think we're getting more transparency now than we have,
Right.
which
And
is helpful.
The Athletic pointed out the same thing, that, hey, perhaps this is showing the drive that everybody has for a place on the squad, and everyone wants to start, and they're so heated that there's enough that there's a fight. Is that really what it is? I don't know. From my professional experience, I don't always.
Ceballos is a little bit of a hothead. I was speaking to Graham Hunter about this after the Eddie Nketiah thing, and I reached out to Graham, and he said, listen, he's really talented, but he's got a hot fuse, and he just needs to chill. I think he thinks, players like Guendouzi and Ceballos sometimes think they're bigger than the team or the club, and you just need to put them in check. And David Luiz, you haven't really heard too many bad things about David Luiz getting in scrapes with his teammates over his career, and he's played at the highest level and he's won everything at the highest level. So obviously
Danny pretty big jerks on that Chelsea team too,
and for Danny to come back in that alleged incident, in the locker room and just say fake was a little tasteless.
He was just protecting himself, wasn't he? Really, because David Ornstein isn't going to report.
More angry.
Yeah,
it does in a very short amount of time that he's had an issue.
But Arteta, this is what worries me, you guys, everyone. Arteta, a controlled dressing room and a controlled team. Yes, Kevin Campbell would tell you these things happen all the time. Mm-hmm. Players go at it. But they go at it for different reasons. Competitiveness. They go at it for proving to the manager. This seems to me petulant on the Ceballos end versus what David Luiz has done. And this is just my opinion. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. But David Ornstein isn't reporting something that he can't back up with facts for the Athletic.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
And you just did a pod. I'm sorry. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but with Kevin and
Mickey Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were talking about that, right? Like how these kinds of climbing of the ladders can come from seniority versus the junior players. And you have these sort of roles that you're put in based on how long you've been there and what you've accomplished. But I think that when you come in and you are still sort of a junior player, or you are, sort of climbing into the middle, and it's too angry, and you're pushing too hard, it doesn't come off as hungry. It comes off as pissy.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's how it came off with Eddie. I think that's how it's come off here. And what concerns me the most is Arteta needs to control this situation. The club need to control the situation. Danny should never have been able to tweet what he did. I think the club should have come out and with some statements saying, hey, this happens all the time. And when you're heading into a really important game against Leeds, everyone's coming up from COVID. We've got players who have, coming out from international duty. We have players who are coming back with COVID. I mean, it's a really it's a very difficult time. And it's all well and good being a cup team and winning the FA Cup, but Arsenal Football Club are always going to be judged on the Premier League. And Arteta's record right now is worse than Emery's in the Premier League. These are facts. Okay. We've scored less goals. We've conceded less, but the sacrifice of our attacking play has been huge because of that.
It's a 9 and 8, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think Emery, Taylor, 7 at this point, whether it's 38 games, I think it's 78 goals for Emery versus 57. I mean, it's a very, very big difference.
None of that matters compared to whether he still has the attention and the respect of his players, because Unai Emery lost that.
At the end, after the Europa League final, he did. It was gone. It was over.
And well, after and we saw multiple episodes of that. We saw it was the final. It was the Xhaka handling of the situation. It was everything. And, I mean,
it was just not a clear vision that he had, and players weren't really sure what they were trying to aspire to. That's not.
I signed up for Unai Emery for 2 seasons, but when he lost the dressing room, it was over. And I just can't see Arteta losing the dressing room, but.
Pepe's come out and spoken up against him.
Danny
and David are fighting. Aubameyang looks like he has the weight of the world on his shoulders. Lacazette is the shadow of the player he was.
I think are forming, but and that's
Taylor. Go ahead, Mike.
No.
I was going to say, in engineering, there's this saying, fail fast, right? And if we're going to be doing all of these different experiences and experiments and tinkering with the squad, then we need to figure out what's working, what's not working quickly, pivot, and move on. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, we just keep tinkering and tinkering and tinkering, and everybody's crying out for a solution, but we don't seem to be getting it.
But I don't think that it seems like it's so blindly as it was with Emery, to be honest. Like, we had a run of 22 games, across all leagues or whatever, across all play that we won in a row under Emery. We were, counting up and we're having a great time with it, and it was a big deal. And then Ramsey's gone. And then there's loss after loss, and then draw, and then loss. And then over the summer, we lose Laurent Koscielny. And these are all things that have like stories, right? There's things that are happening, but it all seems blind. It all seems like they're just sort of drowning in trying to make these decisions about what's best for the club. And I don't find Arteta to be that way. I still don't. I get that there are cracks, but I still think that he knows what he's doing.
I want to believe that. And that's all that matters to me, is that I don't care what the alternative might be. I would like to think that Arteta has the ear of his players, that Gabriel came here for a reason, that maybe Szoboszlai will come here for a reason, that Partey came here for a reason, and that the vision of Mikel Arteta is one that will have us competing at the top levels in a year or two. I'm willing to submit myself, despite all evidence to the contrary over the last 10 years, to that desire and that hope, because that's all I can control. I can't control anything else. So, you can either wait for us to fail and say, I told you so, which is an indictment on a lot of people who take up this YouTube and space and this public Arsenal face space, or you can just go along for the ride and hope for the best. And you don't have to not ask questions, but let's just see how it goes.
Yeah, I think we need some patience. And
I still believe, and I could be proven wrong in 4 years or 3 years or 2 years, and that doesn't mean that I'm gonna that I'm gonna feel bad about how I felt. But I still believe that Mikel Arteta has a design and an idea, and with the right support, we'll take our club back to the promised land. And if it doesn't end up happening, then so be it. But
every successful manager builds a team in their image. A team has to reflect the manager's personality. Those are the great teams, from Fabio Capello to Antonio Conte, Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, even Jose Mourinho.
It doesn't happen overnight.
It doesn't happen overnight, but he cannot be arrogant, and he can't continue to put square pegs in round holes and play the way Pep Guardiola did in the semi-final of the Champions League last season, where the manager lost Manchester City that semi-final by making arrogant decisions.
I fully agree with you, Sophie.
Taylor, if he doesn't come out against Leeds and make some changes, to me that shows a little bit of arrogance. He's had 10 days now to figure it out, right?
And so if you've always been different to me in a way that's wonderful, because I would rather I love to talk about Arsenal when we win, and I hate to talk about Arsenal when we lose. I will stick my head in the sand. I don't want to break down and try to find out the reason why. You will ask the difficult questions. I mean, you are a supporter of Arsenal, but not unconditionally, to the point where you won't ask the questions. And I've seen it with Unai Emery, and I've seen it now with Mikel Arteta. You're willing to say, you know what, there might be a problem here, and we have to hold him to account. And I appreciate that, because the counterbalance to me, who's basically like, I just want to believe that we're headed in the right direction, and when it becomes clearly obvious that we're not. Like I jumped off the Arsene Wenger train when we lost to Swansea after.
That was a horrible game. I remember that game.
But it wasn't the Swansea game I watched in New Orleans with you, Tiffany. It was the one a couple years before that, after we had given Marcus Rashford the best debut of all time, and then in the midweek we lost to him. That was when I finally was like, these players aren't playing for him. So I will stick my head in the sand. and I just want
Mike, you were
everything to
there
work
with
out.
me when I just asked Unai point blank about Koscielny. I asked
Yeah.
him point blank about, you just have to do it. And if you get banned from a press conference, fine, but you've got to ask the right questions. Mikel Arteta is in charge of Arsenal Football Club. Manchester United have still not found the formula since Sir Alex Ferguson left. And they've been through Moyes, Van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, and Ole. Right? At least Jose, people laugh at Jose. When he said he finished second with that team and everyone laughed at him, he won the Europa League with them and the League Cup, and he got them back into the Champions League. This is what I fear about Tottenham this year. I'm not going to say it out loud yet. The season is still young. But let me tell you something. This guy, he's freaking annoying, and he could do something with this team this year. Hopefully they'll just win the FA Cup or the League Cup, not the Premier League. But at some point, Arteta's got to start making and creating points in the Premier League. You can't just win the FA Cup and think that you've arrived and win the Charity Shield and beat Liverpool twice. Liverpool were on the beach with their towels when we beat them in the Premier League. The Charity Shield, granted, it was a bit more competitive. They didn't have Trent Alexander-Arnold or Jordan Henderson, but I think that we just need to be really careful. So we've been going.
Can I just jump in really quick?
45 minutes. Yes, go.
Really quick, you said that you spoke up and asked about Koscielny on the tour.
Yes.
And it was so funny because I knew, excuse me, I knew that I was going to be hosting events in LA and DC. And the only jersey I brought with me was Koscielny.
Wait, were you wearing your Koscielny jersey when I bought you that beer at the game at the LA Galaxy Stadium? You may have been wearing your Koscielny jersey. Yeah.
Did you ask that question before or after I almost got my ass kicked by Granit Xhaka for
Granit Xhaka was going to karate kick you.
Oh my God. I can't really speak about him because, he almost ended my life in that press conference. I've also never sweated more than I did in that 2 seconds. Oh my God. That was.
Well, listen.
My hat's off to you, a real member of the media who knows how to handle themselves in a press conference, because that was the height of jackassery. I was out of my depth, way out of my depth.
No, you guys were pretty cool. Listen, you guys, I know we had a little bit of fun tonight, and there's going to be plenty of time as the season goes on. It's just still so short. It's the first act, then there's the middle act, and then there's the final act. And hopefully Arsenal will be there or thereabouts in the final act. I personally feel that this is a Leicester-type Premier League winning season where someone different can win the Premier League. Liverpool, so many injuries. City in a rebuilding process, really. Chelsea, how reliable are they going to be? They're looking good right now. Tottenham, can you really trust them? Will they go Spursy? Leicester, they folded last season. Arsenal Football Club, come on. Let's do this. This is the season. It's going to be one of those seasons, and I hope that we're there or thereabouts. And I promise you, we'll do another Stateside show where we talk more tactics and games and post-game shows. But during this interdull and the lockdown series, I wanted to do a show that showcased your personalities, a little bit of fun, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have.
So, can I say one more thing, real quick? And it's not about me.
Always.
It's not about me. It's about.
Is it about your alter ego? You?
No, it's about the
Are
situation.
you wearing pants?
Are you wearing your underpants?
It's about the situation we find ourselves in right now, which is a world that is dealing with a pandemic. And this is a great way for all of us Gooners to get together, to commiserate, to be incredible, and love each other. But I just want to say thank you to people like Jessica, who are on the front lines, pediatric chaplains, working in hospitals, dealing with things selflessly to make people feel better, both spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And just as we enter into what seems like another dark era of this entire ridiculous 2020 that we've been in, it's lovely to support Arsenal. It's great to have this common bond, but let's just really appreciate the people around us. And Jessica, and maybe you can pass this along to the people who are in the operating room with the people and in the rooms with the people. But I mean, I just mad respect for what you do, and it's a pleasure as always to spend time with you. So thank you.
You know, we chat a lot of football at work, and I think there's a lot of banter in the hallways. We're waiting for a very severe trauma to come in on Tuesday that you can Google. I mean, it's in the news. I just can't tell you, but you can Google it. But I'm waiting for it. And there was myself, a physician who's a United fan, and a pharmacist I mentioned earlier, Chelsea fan, and some others. And we're just, while we wait, just to break that tension, we're talking. You know, this is why I still have hope. I like with Emery, I didn't like, the hope was very tense. This is not tense. I still have hope that this can go in the right direction. And I know that football is helping a lot of people right now, giving us a lot to push for and a lot to talk about when we don't want to talk about COVID anymore.
It really is. And I hope that football can stick around. The international break has kind of, you know, brought some cases to fruition, but hopefully, you know, we can continue because it's our lifeline right now. Sports has been able to continue. And at first it was a bit weird, but to be honest with you, it's really been a lifesaver, hasn't it, guys, in so many different ways. So,
you know what, even if there's another big pause, these kinds of podcasts of us getting to just talk to each other and just, you know, live in our realities it's a really nice change.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed this.
It's an hour and a half where we talked about fun things that we all love.
Until I ruined it all at the end.
That's why I wanted to go that way with the show tonight, guys. I just wanted it to be fun, and I think that's a loss. I have so many friends, people I know. Honestly, the letter that we got today from one of our listeners, I was crying. I woke up this morning and I was reading it, and it choked me up to hear how people are finding comfort in what we do, you know, and we find comfort in what we do too. I've been doing this lockdown series. This is day 10 tomorrow. It's every single day, and it's giving me a lifeline. It's helped me mentally. It's made me get up every morning. You know, I was recently furloughed. I've been lucky. I've been working most of the year, but you know, now I'm looking for another gig, and this is my also gig, but you know, you still have to pay the mortgage and pay the bills. And so we're in this together. And I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate all of you spending almost 2 hours of your evening with us, sharing your story with us. You're incredible people. You love the Arsenal. And, you know, we're all going through similar things. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's been fantastic. Really.
Thanks for having all of us, Sophie.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
We're going to do it again. We're going to do
family.
All right.
Family is the key part of Gooner family.
Exactly. There's lots of games coming up, so there'll be more stateside shows coming too. So stay tuned. I'll be reaching out to all of you. In the meantime, there's one thing we say always at the end of the show, and I'm thinking maybe you can all say it together.
Can I do it? Always Arsenal.
No way. Oh wait. Also, can we send Rebecca a wee message and tell her how much we adore her?
Yeah,
say hi to Rebecca, everyone.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hey,
Rebecca.
All right, that's how it goes. And then after 3, 1, 2, 3.
Always Arsenal.
Amazing.